Hi guys, welcome back to another video of the Southern Scouser. We're going to do a live Champions League draw reaction video today, as well as a few other updates from other things out and about. The draw has just started. Borussia Mönchengladbach are the first team out, and they've been followed by Manchester City. So City fans first out the pot in the first game. Pretty good draw for them, I would say. I said in my last video that I would have taken that for Liverpool, a team that scored plenty of goals, but not really Champions League much experience in this competition. They're drawing the second seeds as the first team, so that the next game out is going to be hosted by Lazio. Again, another team I mentioned in my video before that I'll be happy for Liverpool to play against, a team again that's done well domestically lately, but again not a team with much experience in Europe in recent times. We have had success against a team from Rome in the past. So here we go, then is the first seed that we'll be playing against Lazio. See who we've got. It is Bayern Munich. So Lazio Bayern. So again, obviously they're holding champions. Probably going to be quite happy with that draw. I think they'll come through that pretty comfortably, to be fair. I think Man City, not in the greatest of form this season, but I think again you'd expect them to beat Mönchengladbach over two legs. Stranger things have happened though. They've gone out, was it to Spurs and even Lyon potentially. Next draw is probably the one everybody wants to avoid. Atletico Madrid are the third match out. They can play Liverpool, PSG, Dortmund, Chelsea or Juventus. Obviously they can't play Real Madrid as it's from the same country. I said in my last video that actually I wouldn't mind playing these for a bit of revenge last season for the same stage of the competition where we were knocked out last year, basically because of Adrian causing two pretty big errors. So if we get them, we get them. It'd be a great draw. If we don't, then maybe we'll meet them further on, depending on who this team is currently. We shall see. Who is it? Chelsea. Ooh. Atletico Madrid against Chelsea. That's definitely the tie of the round so far. What a draw that is. That's very difficult to call. My son is a Chelsea fan, so I'll let him know that after school. Whew. So here we go. We go on. Next game out is RB Leipzig. Again, decent team. They got to the semi-finals last season. They beat Atletico Madrid, who knocked us out, but you look at their team this year, they've just about scraped through the group stage with PSG and Man United. And again, you know, they're the third or fourth best German team, aren't they? So you can't really be too picky. If you're avoiding Bayern and Dortmund, then you've got to be pretty happy if you get a team from Germany and it's not one of those two. It's got to be Liverpool at some point now. It's one of four, I believe. Not sure who that is. Oh, it is Liverpool. There we go. So RB Leipzig against Liverpool. A pretty good draw. That's not bad as a last 16 game over two legs. Obviously, Leipzig beat Man United on the final match day in the group stages to advance as runners-up behind PSG in that group. Decent team, but United absolutely battered them 5-0 at home in the same group stage. So definitely beatable. Some decent players. Upamecano, Galaxy is the goalie. He used to play for Liverpool back in the day. Was really a reserve for us in the past, but yeah, it was really nailed down a first-team place in a top European side. So Poulsen is another one. Forsberg, Haidara. Obviously, it's Naby Keita's old team, so I'm sure he'll know half the side as well if he's ever fit to play a match. So we'll continue with the draw. Obviously, it's still interesting to see who gets who. And I've got a few other things to talk about based on, Fulham game, etc., which disappointing, but I will get onto it. Juventus are the next team out. So FC Porto versus Juventus is match 5. Again, it's pretty easy one to call, that one. Last 16 games are usually, with group winners v runners-up, are pretty easy to call. Most of the group winners tend to go through, and the quarterfinals is where it happens because you've got every game is a big game, a big team against a big team. But FC Barcelona are the odd one out in this one. The runners-up pot, don't think they've been in that too many times in the past. They can play PSG or Dortmund. I'd say a PSG Barca would be a bit of a cracker, wouldn't it? There's been some history in that fixture with crazy comebacks. We shall see. Is it Dortmund or is it PSG? It's PSG. Oof. That might just pip the Chelsea-Madrid match as the tie of the round now. Barca-PSG. What a tie. Obviously, Mbappe, Neymar against his old club. If he's fit, I see something this morning. He might have broken his ankle at the weekend. So, depending on how bad that is, he may not be back for that game. Not till February usually. The knockout stages come around. Which means the last should be Sevilla versus Dortmund, which is pretty boring for anyone that doesn't support those two teams, to be fair. You'd think Dortmund would probably be too strong over 2 legs with Sancho and Haaland. Just need to turn up and put on a show, don't they, those two, and pretty much go through. Haaland pretty much on his own, really. And that's match 7. Well, there may be one more match, actually. So it's Madrid and Atalanta, I believe, are the only 2 left. So obviously Atalanta, runners-up in Liverpool's group. Good team. We battered them away. They beat us at ours. So dangerous side if you get them on their day. But are definitely beatable. But same as Madrid, a bit like Barca this year, really struggling domestically. Obviously Champions League has been their competition really, other than the last couple of years. You know, they won it 3 years in a row. Even if they weren't winning the Spanish league, they were winning the Champions League back to back with obviously Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale made a difference, which, you know, they don't actually have any more in their team. Bear me a second. Okay, so that's the 8 matches then. I think they're going to just review them now. But obviously the big news for Liverpool is RB Leipzig is the draw. We will have the away leg first. So you've got Mönchengladbach versus Man City. You've got Lazio against Bayern, Atletico against Chelsea, Leipzig against Liverpool, Porto Juventus, Barca PSG, which is a huge one, Sevilla Dortmund and Atalanta Madrid. So you'd probably say 6 out of 8 you could call, you know, and you probably would be right in terms of who would go through. Atletico Chelsea is a difficult one to call, as is Barca PSG. Again, it's whoever turns up on the day, if there's any injuries for either side as well. Yeah, so it's a 9th, and so they're all spread out because there's so many games. They're not going to put them all on over 2 nights. They want you to watch them, so they spread them out. So they're going to be a bit in February, a bit in March as well. So hopefully you can watch, you know, a game on the Tuesday and Wednesday, a game on the following Tuesday and Wednesday for the first legs, and then the same again, flip round a couple of weeks later for the second leg. So yeah, I mean, I'd have taken Leipzig before. There wasn't many other teams that were technically easier. I mean, Leipzig have got good experience in this competition. They've got a good young manager as well. Obviously a German side, so Klopp will know them very well, as will Jota. But yeah, I think overall, you know, we could have got Barcelona, we could have got Atletico Madrid. So you'd take Leipzig, wouldn't you, really? I mean, I think Porto would have been my choice if I had to choose one, as we've always battered them. And, you know, other than that, we couldn't get Atalanta. Sevilla are a decent side, but more of a Europa League team. So, yeah, other than Lazio and Mönchengladbach, you'd say Leipzig were in that category of, yeah, take that all day. And then we'll see. So the ties to be played on the 16th and 17th and the 23rd and 24th of Feb are the first leg matches. So 9th and 10th of March, you would think, and the 16th and 17th will be the second legs. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Maybe we'll have some fans in the stadiums by February, end of February. Maybe more than 2,000 be allowed to go in and get that Anfield atmosphere rocking again. And that's the draw. That is it. So I will get on to other things that I wanted to talk about before I end the video. Big news, really, really sad news out of Liverpool this morning. Former Liverpool manager Gerard Houllier has passed away at the age of 73. Pretty much the first Liverpool manager I remember. Is the first Liverpool manager that I saw, you know, from his first day to his last. Roy Evans was in charge when I first started supporting Liverpool, about 96, 97. He was kind of coming to the end, and Houllier sort of stepped in with him and kind of did it joint for a year or so, and then Houllier took charge on his own. But yeah, I mean, absolute legend of the club, absolute gentleman as well. He famous really for that treble winning season in 2001 when Liverpool won the League Cup, the UEFA Cup, and the FA Cup as well. Some classic finals. I think would be Alaves 5-4, golden goal in extra time in the UEFA Cup final. The Arsenal FA Cup final, Michael Owen scoring 2 goals in the last minute to win 2-1. And the League Cup, I'm sure we beat Man United as well. So it was a great season. We came second in the league that year and won the Community Shield. So that's what he's going to be remembered for, I would say, from Liverpool fans. But as I say, an absolute gentleman. While he was in charge of Liverpool, we did have some heart problems. There were times where he would be in hospital, and Phil Thompson, who was the assistant at the time, would take charge while he was going through some heart surgery. So, at least he's got to 73, but it's still really, really sad news to hear that he's now passed away. So I'm sure there'll be some really nice memories and some nice maybe a minute's silence and at the next Liverpool game, just to show respect to him and his family. So it's a real shame to hear about that. But onto the pitch. Liverpool obviously played last night away to Fulham, chance to go top of the league, and they didn't do it. First half, probably as bad as they've played since that Aston Villa game. Just not at the races at all. Carragher's on commentary saying the same. You've got Klopp on the side shouting to them individually, "Wake up, Trent, wake up. Hendo, wake up. Wake them up." How you can't be woke up for a game against a team that's right down the bottom of the league? They're ship goals for fun, and to go 1-0 down to Fulham, we deserved to. They were much better. It was a great goal, and arguably could have had a penalty in that first half as well. It splits opinions. There's a lot of people that say certain pen. I personally don't think it was. Obviously, everyone's going to think it's, because you got your red goggles on. But if you look at it slowly, there's 2 angles really, and you can see that Fabinho, his foot kind of goes underneath the Fulham strikers and just about pokes the ball away. He does also contact the Fulham player's foot as well. So I've seen him given, but for me it wasn't a pen, and it's about time we got a bit of luck with the VAR decisions, because there's been so many ruled out for offside that weren't. There's been handballs that are a joke as well against us. So, like you say, some go against you, some go for you. Even this week, the Midtjylland one, even though it was a game that didn't matter, we scored a winning goal. Nothing wrong with it. It's a handball by the Midtjylland defender, or it's a goal. And they give neither, and they give a handball to Liverpool when it wasn't even off a Liverpool hand. So, for me, I don't think that was a foul. But I do, however, disagree with Liverpool's equaliser. Free kick, the Fulham wall kind of jumps kind of like that. You have to jump with your arm, and it hits someone's arm. It's not exactly going to go in if it doesn't hit the arm. And they give a penalty, which for me is not a pen. Under the new stupid handball rule, I guess it is. But yeah, it's really not fair for Fulham. They should have won that game. They deserved to win that game. And Liverpool have got to have a long, hard look at themselves after last night. And the team that Klopp picked, there was nothing wrong with the team. Matip went off at half time because he's made a cheese string. But Fabinho, Trent, Robbo were there. Jones, Henderson was there. Wijnaldum, Salah, Mane, and Firmino. So that's good enough to beat Fulham, isn't it? So really disappointing result. We stay joint top with Spurs, who we play on Wednesday night on Amazon Prime. So makes that game even bigger. Could have had a 2-point lead. Now it's going in level. But yeah, there's a few things I don't really get with Klopp at the minute. He's sort of blaming Fulham's style of play. Mate, you can't blame a promoted team's style of play. Oh, they always play football, but today they didn't. Well, yeah, they're playing against you, mate. Obviously, they're not going to try and play football against Liverpool. They're going to make it difficult. They're going to, pump the long ball. They're going to look for a counter-attack. You've got to wise up to that. These teams at the bottom of the league are going to struggle against teams like Liverpool, Man City, and park the bus. It's up to you to break them down. You've got millions and millions of pounds on your bench, let alone in your team, to make changes. You're bringing on Minamino and Origi to try and save you the game, and as we've seen, they're just not good enough. They don't do anything. They've had moments, Origi maybe more than Minamino, but yeah, all that Minamino seems to do is sort of pass it backwards or sideways to someone 2 yards away from him, because he daren't do anything else to lose the ball. So I think both of them need to go in January, if not this summer. Shaqiri, again, just disappeared off the face of the earth. He comes back, plays well for 2 games, and then doesn't play for 6 months. So again, he needs to move on. Matip, we need to replace. We need January signings, big time. Off the bench, we need some more impact players, and we need a centre-back, big time. If we don't get either of those, then Klopp can't blame anybody else but himself and his own club. You've got the opportunity in 2 weeks' time to sign 2 or 3 players that you need, ship 2 or 3 out that aren't contributing. You've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, who hasn't played all season long, suddenly appears on the bench against Fulham. You think, oh, okay, he's back. Maybe we can bring him on if we need him. So we're 1-1 with Fulham and we don't bring him on. So you think, well, surely if he's fit, then you'd bring him on and play him. If he's not fit, why is he on the bench? Doesn't make sense. You're filling a place on the bench with someone that you're basically admitting isn't ready to play yet. Because if we were 4-0 up and he doesn't come on, I understand. But we're 1-1 with a team that's probably going to get relegated this season, and he doesn't get a minute. So clearly he wasn't ready to play at all, even if the circumstances required someone like that to come on. So why put him on the bench? Is it just to fill a spot? Is there no? Are we that low on players that we're putting injured players on the bench that can't play a minute? It's just, it just didn't get me. I mean, you look at the midweek game, as I've mentioned, with Midtjylland, you've got Trent and Salah played 90 minutes, Jota played 87, Fabinho played 45. Why? We could have lost 10-0 and gone through and won the group. Rest them, leave them at home. What's the point? And now you're moaning about midweek fixtures and all the European teams are going to struggle this weekend because they've just played in midweek. Well, Leicester didn't struggle. They won 3-0. They beat Brighton. For me, he sets himself up for downfall. So, massive fan of Klopp, obviously, but a lot of moaning from him lately is not really on, in my opinion. He needs to look at himself and his own team, not blame everybody else. So, I think, he needs to kind of wind his neck in a bit, to be honest with you. Mentioning Jota, really bad news that he's now out for 2 months, which is absolutely gutting, had a knee injury. So, it does make you wonder why he played 90 minutes again in a meaningless game. Like you say, now Jota's out. The options in terms of that front three are Minamino, Origi, Shaqiri, and Chamberlain. 2 of those 4 are injury prone, and the other 2 don't really make any impact whatsoever when they come on. So, that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to talk about. Obviously, Champions League draw. I was going to do a live stream, but I couldn't seem to make it work. So I will post this very shortly, and it will be a just slightly delayed stream. So Leipzig in the Champions League, I'll take that all day long. But for now, Premier League games come thick and fast up until that point. FA Cup gets going in Jan as well, which, again, we won't take seriously probably. Next up, I think it's West Brom. Let me just quickly check. So, we got Tottenham on Wednesday. We've got Palace on the weekend after that, and then West Brom after that. So, we need to get some form. The away form has been poor. We've not won in 4 or 5 games, I think, now, away from home. It's not acceptable. All right, some people say, it's not so bad because Tottenham drew, so we're still up there. Well, no, you need to concentrate on yourself. They're the sort of games we need to get the points from. In the past, when we've drawn with promoted sides, we've lost the league by 2 or 4 points, and that's cost us. Draws with Stoke in 2009. And we've lost out. So it's games like this you'll look back at the end of the season and think, okay, we lost the league by 2 points. Right, we drew with Fulham. That was probably the time where we could have got the win. So we need to go on a bit of run of form. We can't just rely on our Anfield record. We need to start doing stuff away as well. So home to Spurs, massive game. Can't really afford to lose it. A win would be huge. Then we've got Palace away, which is always a hard place to go, but we need to start winning on the road. West Brom after that at home, which you'd think we'd win, and then Newcastle away as well, a game you think we'd win. That's the last game of 2020, so hopefully we'll get some form towards the end of the year. Injuries, hopefully we won't get any more serious ones, and the ones that are coming back can hopefully step into the team and make an impact. But other than that, guys, that's it from me. I'll do another video, probably just to react from the Spurs game, as it's such a big game, rather than wait for 1 or 2 matches to go by. So I'll do a instant reaction after the Liverpool Spurs game, and I'll see you then. Take care.